Who's actually going to get the most out of a home Pilates reformer? And who would be better off putting their money toward a different kind of workout gear? If you've been scrolling through endless options, wondering whether the extra square footage and price tag are justified for everyday use, you're not alone. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's walk through the real-world setup, daily usability, and the hidden trade-offs of the Stamina Products AeroPilates board reformer so you can decide whether it's a smart buy for your routine or just another piece of equipment that ends up in the corner. First off, the biggest hesitation people have is the question of space. The reformer sits on a solid oak wood base with an elevated steel frame, which makes it feel studio-grade, but that also means it's not exactly a fold-away treadmill. You'll need roughly a 3x4 area to lay it out, plus a little clearance for the cardio rebounder that folds out from the front. If you live in a tiny apartment or share a workout space with a partner, you might find the footprint a bit aggressive. On the flip side, anyone who already has a dedicated home gym or a spare room will appreciate that the base is sturdy enough to handle the 69 inches of platform travel without wobbling, even when you're standing tall on the far end. Now, let's talk about the practical side of using it every day. The platform itself is wide and padded, which is a blessing for longer sessions where you're sliding back and forth between footbar positions. The foam shoulder pads and padded headrest are designed for the classic Pilates roll-up and teaser moves, and in user videos they seem to hold up after multiple repetitions without flattening out. The real kicker is the built-in cardio rebounder. It folds out from the front and lets you do low-impact bounce work that targets the abs, glutes, and hips while keeping joint stress minimal. For folks who want a hybrid Pilates and cardio session without buying a separate mini trampoline, that feature adds genuine versatility. One of the strengths that shows up repeatedly in the product description is the adjustability of the resistance. The reformer ships with 4 heavy-duty springs that you can clip into the carriage with quick-adjust rope clips. This means you can start with a gentle pull for beginner mat work and then crank it up for more demanding leg presses or arm circles. The springs are heavier than the lightweight versions you see on budget models, so they actually provide enough tension to challenge intermediate users. If you're a complete novice, you'll still need to spend a bit of time figuring out the right spring configuration, but the learning curve isn't steep. The wall chart that comes with the kit lays out a clear progression path. What about the digital side of things? The package includes 2 DVDs and access to 3 online workout programs, plus a full-color wall chart that maps out common sequences. That's useful if you don't already have a Pilates instructor or a subscription to a streaming service. The DVDs are a bit dated in terms of production quality, but the instructor's cues are clear and the routines are designed specifically for the AeroPilates platform, meaning the footbar angles and spring settings line up nicely with what you see on screen. For a self-motivated user who prefers to follow along with a phone or tablet, the online workouts are a convenient backup. Now let's address the inevitable "what are the downsides" part. The first practical weakness is assembly. The oak base arrives in a few heavy pieces, and the elevated steel frame needs to be bolted together with the aluminum carriage and the rebounder mechanism. Most reviewers report that 2 strong adults can get it assembled in about an hour, but the instruction manual isn't the most intuitive. If you're not comfortable with a bit of DIY, you might want to factor in professional assembly costs or ask a friend for a hand. Second, the noise level can be a surprise. While the ball-bearing wheels glide smoothly when you push the carriage out, you'll still hear a low hum that can carry across a thin apartment wall. It's not a deal-breaker for most, but if you share your space with a light sleeper, you may need to schedule your sessions when they're out. Another subtle trade-off concerns the cardio rebounder itself. It provides a nice low-impact cardio option, but it isn't built for high-intensity plyometric drills. The bounce feels softer than a dedicated rebounder, which is great for protecting the knees but limits the intensity if you're looking to burn a high number of calories in a short window. In other words, think of it as a supplementary cardio tool rather than a replacement for a full-on cardio machine. Who should put this reformer in their cart? If you're an intermediate Pilates enthusiast who wants to bring a studio-like experience home, the AeroPilates board checks a lot of boxes. The solid oak base and elevated steel frame give you confidence that the equipment will hold up over months of regular use, and the